This is my inaugural trip report. Um, Perhaps I should do a video also like pre-taking Yagé, and also as important as the actual ritual itself, besides the set and setting, is the people that you do it with. Like the post, like after the ritual. Um, I called this particular entry part one of the sacred tryptamine space. I followed the dieta. I knew it would ease my entry to the sacred space, which I've ventured a multitude of times. I closed my eyes, which I know it's one of the most important components of experiencing the travel. And then it came. It was my first Yagé ritual. The first time I took what's known as, in the West, more popularly as ayahuasca. It's not my first time being in the tryptamine space. I've had extensive experience smoking DMT in the past. I also have, I'm one of the youngest adherents, the John C. Lilly's invention, the sensitive vibration chamber, and I've been doing it on and off for the past 2 decades. So within first 20 minutes of taking it, it kicked in. And I followed the diet. I actually didn't eat close to 26, 28 hours before drinking the sacrament, for lack of a better word, this sacred thing. Because that's always my thing. Every time I take psychedelics, I do a fast. I respect the medicine. When I saw the rainbow psychedelic sacred geometry patterns, these tentacle tendrils, I said to myself, here we go. I first saw these stem and branch-like kaleidoscope visions. I know I've broken through. Then the appendages, and then the disembodied eyes that you see, which is so common. Like if you ever saw Alex Gray's pineapple painting, the basically looks like a pineapple of eyes and like a guy looking up. And if you've never smoked DMT or been part of that realm, like then you really figure out like, oh, so this is where they get all those psychedelic art, sacred art from. It's like, yeah. It's very common in the sacred tryptamine space, those disembodied eyes. But what happened was they started to form a face, and I call her the green woman or the green lady. It formed this face of this beautiful woman, which I've seen before, but kind of not. Like, she never really appears the same every time, but just beautiful. What I would say is, like, here in the West they call it like Mother Ayahuasca, and she appeared to me right away. She smiled, and I understood that as a welcome. She's happy to see me, and it was jovial that I appreciated her, that I was steadfast in my diet and my preparation. It's like an ongoing relationship. It's like you see this face, it's like seeing like a friend again, or a lover that that you have such fond memories with. And so it was like that. I was like, hey, like so I was the one that was thankful. I knew then I would have a good travel. I would have a good experience for the rest of the night. I don't want to use the word trip because I don't think that's the right word. The imagery in the tryptamine space realm is ever changing. I mean, it changes not even in a nanosecond, like in a femtosecond. Like, there's so much information that even if you have an eidetic memory, I don't think you could keep all that info. Because there's just so much visual and sense stimuli. I saw this morphing tendrils, different impossible geometry, icosahedrons. It's not really possible to describe in 3-dimensional space that we live in. I saw E8 light groups, things that are impossible to describe here. Shapes that are even beyond that, like Calabi manifolds. Like, it's just hard to describe. Multicolored, it's ever changing. The colors and shapes there, for the lack of the better words, like there's really no way of describing. It's impossible to describe in verbal language. I must have had what I call the super standard vanilla version experience of taking ayahuasca, because I saw everything that you stereotypically see. the sacred geometry patterns. She showed herself as a beautiful green woman's face. One of her first appearances of the night. She would appear to me 2 other times after that. She didn't really leave, but she didn't make herself visible. After showing her face, like she showed almost like a totem. It's like an image, right? Like an idea. But she should show herself 2 more times a night, but not as a woman. I saw the most impossible geometrical patterns. It even showed me different scales of the universe, like from globular clusters all the way down to the Planck scale. It was insane. It was like having like 100 years worth of experience in like even like the first few minutes. I was kind of abducted and experimented on, but it was so short. It was like a less than 20 seconds. Like, it was nothing much really I could do. It was just like, hey, yeah, okay, I surrender. I don't want to use the word grace because that's not what they were, but they kind of had devices coming out of their fingertips. I just laid down, but it wasn't unpleasant. Like, it looked like they were taking bad things out of me. So it was like, okay, thank you. It's like going to a car wash, kind of. That's the kind of experience I had. I saw other darker images too. I saw like kind of like demon faces, reptiles, again, ever changing. I saw kind of like an image of Ming the Merciless if he was like a metal thing, kind of looked like Alpha Trion from Transformers, like the head masters. It's like guilty, innocent, like kind of like the Alex Gray painting of the Godhead. Kind of like that. It's really, like, how do you describe something you can't really describe? I even saw the Joker and Harley Quinn kind of imagery, like I call it the payaso imagery, which is like the court jester. Once I thought positive thoughts, it went away. The court jester image is like, it was a stereotype, like kind of like the Joker card that you see where it has the court jester with like the bells on the end of the hat. But I messed up. Little did I know that I should have had its moment and I should not have let it go. Because maybe I should talk about that for another episode. Because it was revealing stuff about me, like when I was being that joker or trickster entity to people that I care about. When I thought good thoughts, that went away like immediately. I kind of even saw like Jesus, except like not the Western concept, like a darker skinned hue, like very colorful, like the Mother, the Father, and the Holy Spirit, but it was represented as a house. I don't know, the Son, the Father, the Mother, and the house. I talked to one of the Taitas about it in the morning, and he explained it to me a little bit differently. Again, that should be in another episode because it's just too much information that first night. I took Yagé twice in that same night. I understood pretty early what those visions are. It's the medicine's way of communicating with me, because I know that basically it's like, look, we don't speak your language, dude. We're gonna try to speak to you in our language so that you can understand. It was like metaphors. It was symbolic metaphors. It's they don't speak the same language we do. They communicate, like, for lack of a better word, telepathically, nonverbal. And in the next episode, I want to go over my 5 questions / intent for the night that was answered within basically less than 2 hours. I should have thought of a longer list.